Hello and welcome to How to Play Life, presented by GatherTogetherGames.com. This video will cover how to play the board game Life. The video will start with the general concepts and gameplay, and then get into more of the details for the game. The game is played with 2 to 6 players. The board game is set up by matching the letter on the bottom of each piece to the same letter on the board. Separate the life cards into 4 piles, a pile for each the stock cards, the house deed cards, the salary cards, and the career cards. 4 life tiles will be placed next to the Millionaire Estates building on the board. Each player will choose a car and add 1 person to the car. The banker bin will be set up with the money separated by denomination, the insurance and loans separated, and the life tiles and the people pegs. Each player begins with $10,000. The object of the game is to have the highest value of money and life tiles once every player has reached retirement. The game begins with a player choosing to start a career or start college. The green player chooses to start a career. Before his first spin, he will draw a career card and becomes an artist. He then draws a salary card and will now receive $30,000 every time he passes a payday space. Once the career and salary cards are drawn, green will spin the wheel. Green spun a 2 and will move 2 spaces. Green passed a payday space, so he is paid $30,000 from the bank. The space landed on states to pay $5,000 for rent. Green will pay the bank $5,000. Play moves to red, who will choose to start college. A player receives $40,000 in loans from the bank when choosing the college path. Red spins the wheel and will move 5 spaces. Red lands on a square that states, "Study for exams, miss next turn." Red will miss her next turn. Play moves back to green, who spins the wheel. Green moves 7 spaces and collects $30,000 for passing a payday space. Green landed on an orange space that states, "Win marathon, collect $10,000." Green gets $10,000 from the bank. Green goes again because red lost her turn on the space that she landed on last. Green moves 4 spaces, collects money for another payday, but lands on a square that states flat tire and will lose his next turn. Red is up and spins a 1. Red lands on a square that states study abroad and has a life tile. Red collects a life tile and goes again because green has to miss his turn. Red spins a 9. This takes red to the career choice space. Red will stop on the space even though she spun a higher number. Since red went to college, she gets to pick 3 career cards and take her pick of the 3. Red also gets to pick 3 salary cards and take her pick of the 3. Any time players land on a red space, they get to spin again after completing the space's task. Players continue to take turns making moves. There are 4 color spaces. Most spaces are orange and a player must follow the directions of the space when landed on. The blue spaces have directions that are optional. When landed on, the player can choose to follow the directions or not. The green spaces are paydays, and when landed on or passed, the player will collect their salary amount from the bank. There are 3 red spaces. The first is the career choice space, where a player gets to choose a career after going to college. The second is the get married space, where a player will add a spouse to their car and take a life tile. The third is a buy a house space, where a player will draw a house deed card and pay the bank the amount listed on the card. If a player is short on cash to pay the house, he will have to borrow from the bank. Skipping ahead in the game, green spins a 1 and has made it to the retirement space. Green will choose to retire at Countryside Acres or Millionaire Estates. Green chooses Countryside Acres and gets 1 life tile for retiring. Red spins and gets enough to move into retirement. Red chooses Millionaire Estates. Out of the players that retire at Millionaire Estates, the one with the most money gets the 4 life tiles set aside at the beginning of the game. Since red is the only player at Millionaire Estates in this game, she gets the 4 life tiles. Now that all the players have reached retirement, the one that has the highest value of money and life tiles combined wins the game. Players must pay back any bank loans upon retirement. The red player wins with $2,170,000 beating the green player's $2,060,000. There are many different directions based on the space landed on. Get the Life Quick Guide from the link in this video's description to help you learn as you play. When drawing a career card, a player must go to college to get a career with a degree requirement. A player must redraw if drawn without going to college. Each career card has a symbol on it. When a player lands on an orange space with your career symbol on it, he must pay you the amount from the space. For example, if you are the entertainer and another player lands on an orange space with a star on it, that player will pay you based on the square. If you land on a square with a career symbol and no other player has that career, you will pay the bank according to the square. If your career is a police officer, anytime a player spins a 10 on the wheel, he owes you $5,000. But you have to notice the 10 spin as the police officer to get paid. Anytime a player lands on a space with life on it, the player will draw a life tile. If all the tiles are gone from the bank bin, the player will steal a life tile from another player. Keep all life tiles face down until after retirement. A player who is retired in Countryside Acres cannot have any life tiles stolen from them, but players retired in the Millionaire Estates can have their life tiles stolen. There are 2 Start New Career spaces that require a player to draw a new career and salary card. Again, a player must have gone to college in order to keep a career that requires a degree. If a player chooses to go to night school, the player draws 2 career cards and chooses to keep one or stay with his current career. The same is done with 2 salary cards. At the beginning of any turn, a player can buy homeowner's insurance from the bank by paying the bank the amount listed for insurance on the house deed card. This protects you from some disastrous orange spaces. At the beginning of any turn, a player can buy auto insurance by paying the bank $10,000. This protects your car from any disastrous orange spaces. At the beginning of any turn, a player can buy a stock card for $50,000 paid to the bank. When the number on your stock card is spun by any player, you collect $10,000 from the bank. A player can own only one stock card unless he lands on the stock market space. He then can have 2 stock market cards. $25,000 are needed to pay back a $20,000 bank loan. The extra $5,000 is the interest. That wraps up how to play Life. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and get more game tutorials by subscribing to our channel, Gather Together Games. Thanks for watching.